Thank you for showing interest in making the most of your experiences in collegiate conferences and events. My name is Leo Young, and I currently serve as the chair of the ACED-I Student Development Action Team, which was created to serve and support all students involved in the field of collegiate conferences and events.
Before we begin, on behalf of the Association of Collegiate Conference and Event Directors International, I'd like to take a moment to thank you for your contributions to our field. Without the hard, committed work of our students, we could not accomplish nearly as much as we do in service to our institutions. I want you to know that you are making an impact in our field, a significant one. And I hope that this webinar impacts you at least a little bit in return to make the most out of your current and potential future experiences within our field. And now, I'd like to introduce you to Sandra DeBose, a current professional member of ACED-I. Sandra will be guiding us through this webinar to help you learn how to make the most out of your experiences working with collegiate conferences and events.
Hi, I'm Sandra DeBose. I'm an ACED-I volunteer, an event coordinator at Wake Technical Community College, and outside of that, I'm a national motivational speaker and a professional singer and actor. So I am really excited to spend this time with you during this webinar. So, let's dive in. In this webinar, we'll cover some of the most crucial components of making the most of your work experience in the collegiate conferences and events field. If you've worked in our field for any significant amount of time, you've put in a lot of work already, and now it's time to give formal definitions to your skills and create concrete examples of your ideal work environment. By the end of the webinar, you'll have practical tips in 5 main categories: self-reflection, identifying your skills, job search sources, references and mentors, and insights from student experiences. Before you ever start looking for a new role or beginning your search for a career, it is essential to take the time to know yourself by identifying your values and what working environments you enjoy. A little self-reflection now will go a long way later on and help keep your search focused. To help define your values, make a list of the following: 5 traits that you value in your current position, 5 traits you would like to experience in a position, 5 traits that you would like in a supervisor, 5 traits of a work environment that you would enjoy. Self-reflection will help you know what to look for to find the right job for you. For more in-depth reflection, dedicate some time to taking a strengths-based test, which we will be discussing next. Remember that when you are interviewing, you're prospecting for future team members and work environments just as much as they are looking into you. Once you hone in on the values and environment you want in a job, you can focus on concrete qualifications to add to your resume. During your training as a student, it is likely that some sort of formal personality and character assessments were incorporated. If not, we recommend that you take one. Along with your self-reflection, be sure to review the results of these assessments and identify how they might affect your values or what you prioritize in a position. This can assist in the positions you apply for, how you craft your resume, and hopefully, how you interview. Let's review a few of the most common assessments. The MBTI Personality Type Test is a descriptive tool that promotes self-awareness and improvement of the individual based on their natural preferences in 4 areas of personality. 1. How you direct and receive energy. 2. How you take in information. 3. How you make decisions and come to conclusions. And 4. How you approach the outside world, planned and orderly, or flexible and spontaneous. This results in one of 16 personality types you can use to define your direction, focus, and choices. This will help you identify the types of jobs that might fit you best and how who you are matches the position you apply for. The DISC assessment test will give you a personalized profile of how you work with others and provides a clear strategy for building more effective relationships in the workplace. It provides you with information about your behavioral style. Are you people or task-oriented, reserved or active? How others perceive you. How to read other people and better understand them, and how to adjust your communication style to achieve your goals. Once you've identified your style, you can utilize this information to predict how you tend to do things and apply that style to the situations you are in. This can be used in interview scenarios to help demonstrate your own self-awareness, communicate how you like to operate in the workplace, and how you best work in a team environment. Can you identify examples of how your style has affected your position? The Clifton Strengths Test, which was formerly called StrengthsFinder, provides you with insight into what areas you are naturally talented in. The results give you a list of your top 5 talents, which fall into 4 distinct domains: executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. By knowing your top 5 talents, you have a unique perspective about what tasks and activities you like to engage in the most, and what gives you the most value for less time investment. This can help you match your natural talents to a job description. In doing so, this will make you a more effective interviewee because you can demonstrate how your talents match the position. With so many valuable assessments available to you to help identify your personality traits, patterns of interactions on teams, and inherent values, be sure to take the assessment that resonates most with you and apply that to your experience rather than trying to apply all of them. With the results from whatever test you choose, identify specific examples of how your style, talents, and abilities have helped you in your student employment experience. This will help you to hone your resume and gives you detailed experiences to share during interviews. We encourage you to reflect and make a list. Once you've reflected on your skills, experiences, and values, you can start to take steps to update your resume with your current experiences. Armed with the knowledge you gained about yourself in the previous sections, you are now ready to update your resume. When you start to focus on the qualitative pieces of your resume, remember to phrase your experiences in a way that match the position you are applying for. You can do this by reviewing specific words or phrases in the description of a position and mirror them on your resume. Specifically, you may want to focus on leadership and supervisory skills, organization skills, office, desk, or administrative experiences, facility, logistics, and event setup, guest services, and special projects. Let's take a look at each of these for transferable skills you may be able to include on your resume, cover letter, or in the interview process. It can be important in some roles to have previous experience overseeing or supervising a team, so your ability to articulate this on your resume or cover letter is extremely helpful. Here are some tips and tricks. First, use specific numbers. How many people did you supervise or lead? And who were they? For example, you could say you supervised a team of 8 to 9 conference assistants, including planning weekly staff meetings, coordinating staff development events, completing midsummer performance evaluations, conducting weekly one-on-one meetings, and ensuring tasks were delegated and completed. Second, talk about how you held other people accountable for tasks or duties that you delegated to them and your individual level of responsibility. Third, make sure to develop your team as people beyond just the job responsibilities. Provide them with professional or personal development opportunities such as trainings, workshops, meet and greets, informational interviews, etc. And fourth, use buzzwords or phrases that match the phrases from the job description. Examples include primary point of contact and leads, directs, or coordinates the works of others, and trains, supervises, or interacts with. These phrases will help explain your relationship with supervisors, supervisees, and colleagues. Remember to be explicit on your resume when talking about your role working with others. If you co-supervised a team, make sure to say that, such as, in conjunction with the center director, I co-supervised 25 conference assistants. Also, explicitly state the level of the person that you were supervising, such as if it was a student worker, a graduate assistant, or a professional staff member. Don't forget that your role as a student supervisor or leader, as a volunteer on committees, and overseeing and leading volunteers count as leadership skills. Organization is a crucial component of many roles. Some job duties highlight your organizational abilities better than others. For example, if you do or have done any of the following things, they may be good to mention in your resume. Coordinating a vendor delivery, such as linen or catering deliveries. Mention how you organize the delivery from beginning to end. Planning events or conferences from start to finish. This is important because it shows your ability to think about the big picture and little details of an event. Planning weekly staff meetings. If you've ever created contents such as icebreakers or agendas for meetings, mention that. This is a great organizational skill to have. Creating and overseeing work schedules. Managing a calendar or shifts requires a lot of organization and planning. Monitor physical condition of halls, fields, or other rooms. Do you maintain the organization of classrooms, residence hall rooms, field spaces, dining halls, or other facilities? Do you verify that meeting spaces are ready as requested and set up as the client wants, such as the audiovisual and catering? If so, this speaks to a strong organizational ability to set up the space exactly as the client needs and would be great to put in your resume. Do you have any experience with billing, finances, and/or spreadsheets? If so, specify on your resume how you organize data and ensure that billing is done correctly. We also have some tips and tricks for when talking about your organizational abilities in an interview. For one, always make sure to provide an example. Saying that you are organized is really just a buzzword. It doesn't say a whole lot about what you actually do. If you are going to say that your strength is that you are organized, make sure to follow that up with a time when you organized a project, program, or event. Think about exactly what tools, resources, and tactics you use to ensure that you were successful. It's great to have a list of software programs that you are familiar with too, like EMS, Microsoft Office Suite, web editors, and so on. Secondly, when thinking about showing off your organizational skills, think about both physical organization, such as arranging a room correctly for a guest, and planning related organization, such as project management or time management. Organization can be broadly applied to many different types of situations, so think creatively about how you could express that skill. Emphasizing your office, desk, and administrative experiences on your resume can be an important area of focus, as many jobs will require some aspect of these, and prospective employers will want to know how you can handle these tasks. Focus on your skills, such as answering phones, monitoring an email account, and responding to clients, maintaining a service desk, updating Excel sheets or logs, scheduling appointments or room reservations, handling payments, assisting guests with questions, etc. Look at direct quotes from position descriptions that mention either the task that the employee would be working on in that role or the recommended or required qualifications. This will show you what employers are looking for in that category. For example, if the position description says the position will involve maintaining inventory, use explicit examples in your resume or cover letter about a time when you dealt with inventory in a previous job or internship. As a tip for this category, focus not just on the experience itself, but put into context how important it was. The person reading your resume or cover letter may not be familiar with the context at your institution. For example, instead of saying that you handled guests' phone calls or helped guests at the conference desk, give them a little bit more information. Tell them how many guests you assisted, the volume of calls you answered, the types of groups, such as corporate, student organizations, community partners, that utilize the space, and so on. Many roles will require event experience with a heavy focus on logistics. Let's go over some buzzwords and key terms from position descriptions relating to facilities, logistics, and event setup, so you can see what employers are looking for. You can incorporate some of this verbiage into your cover letter and resume to show that you have also done these tasks. Collaborating with others to set up for an event is crucial. Think of who you have worked together with. For example, did you work with the maintenance, groundskeeping, catering, or cleaning teams? Describe how you work together with other departments or teams to ensure a successful event. Prospective employers will also want to see that you can handle last-minute changes. Since events involve constantly moving variables, issues and challenges can come up frequently. Describe how you work to quickly resolve a last-minute challenge while setting up for or running an event. Paperwork or documentation. Event setup and facilitation requires a lot of paperwork, including room setup sheets, inventory, condition reports, etc. If those buzzwords are on a position description, you may want to mention times where you have handled that aspect of event planning. Safety and ADA compliance. Ensuring an event space or facility is safe and compliant for people with disabilities is crucial. Mention any experiences you have had with getting a space up to fire code, ADA code, or ensuring the safety of event participants. For example, you could say that you performed health and safety checks of 57 apartments, rooms, or events to ensure space was safe for guest arrival and occupancy. Lastly, look to see if the position description mentions interacting with guests or volunteers at an event. Will you have to recruit or oversee day of volunteers? Think of any similar experiences you have had and mention those. Don't forget that your experience as an event attendee or volunteer can also provide valuable insight. For example, if you have worked commencement ceremonies before, you could say you interacted with graduates, parents, families, leadership, faculty, and staff to provide information and guidance regarding registration and ceremony details. This sentence is specific to the broad scope of people you interacted with and describes what you assisted them with. Let's take a closer look at other guest service experiences you can highlight. Guest and client interactions is one of the most important aspects of conferencing, hospitality, or other similar professional positions. Prospective employers want to know that you will take good care of their clients and guests. Here are some direct quotes from position descriptions that are examples of what you could say in your resume or cover letter to articulate your guest service skills. One is, attended to last-minute guest requests. This will be important because guests are not always proactive. As much as you prepare for their arrival, you will need to be on your feet and handle any requests that come in while they are on site. Another one is, acted as liaison between guest and conference team. You are often the link between the guest and the rest of your team. Describing how you were the liaison for them and helped to connect them with information and resources will be a great point to mention. Ensured quick and courteous handling of guest issues. The key words here are quick and courteous. You will always have to deal with some form of guest complaint. Make it clear on your resume or cover letter that you know a guest complaint needs to be handled quickly and with full courtesy. This can make a prospective employer feel more comfortable with trusting you with their clients. Corresponded with potential clients via email, phone, and memos. Again, this is important to show the scope and details of your interaction with guests. Describe in what context you communicated with guests and what type of things you communicated with them about. And the last one is, created a welcoming environment while anticipating guests' needs. The goal of any client service is to make the guest feel welcome. Think of a specific example where you went above and beyond for a customer and anticipated something they would want. For example, you can mention how you anticipated a soccer camp renting your fields would need some extra water bottles and provided them for the guest without them even having to ask. When trying to articulate your guest services experience on a resume or cover letter, first, help a prospective employer understand the breadth, depth, or scope of the clients you have worked with. Were any of them international, youth, or highly public, such as a famous sports team or group, etc.? Explain how different groups have different needs and how you adjusted your approach based on the needs of that particular group. For example, you could say how you ensured that a religious group had the correct kosher meals for their event. Second, if you get called for an interview, have several examples prepared ahead of time, where you assisted a guest with a high-level need or when you resolved a guest concern. This is a crucial skill to have when working in collegiate conferencing, as we are often working to ensure the guest experience exceeds expectations. When preparing your examples, keep the STAR method in mind. S is for situation. Set up the example by briefly describing the situation. T is for task. Outline the task you had to complete. A is for action. Highlight the crucial action steps you took. And R is for result. Close out your response with the end result. Strive to make your response as concise as possible to be memorable. Other memorable experiences to highlight include any special projects that were outside your initial description. Most positions will have an other duties as assigned component, and they will want to see that you're familiar with and okay with doing tasks outside of the norm. It shows that you are flexible, adaptable, and able to be creative with new tasks. Let's discuss some examples of these extra duties you may want to focus on. First, on-call duties, such as duty rotation, lockout assistance, after-hours client concerns, and partnering with summer resident advisors or resident directors to respond to emergency situations. These are particularly important to mention if the role you are applying for involves housing accommodations or on-call responsibilities. Second, updating documents, guides, or newsletters. Did you assist in the creation of a summer training manual, a weekly staff newsletter or meeting agenda, a guest binder, an event form, operating procedures, etc.? If so, make sure to mention that on your cover letter or resume, as that is good experience to show that you have. If you do not have this experience, try to get it on your current role. Lastly, ongoing training and development. Most jobs will mention this in their position descriptions. Prospective employers will want to see that you are always willing to learn and taking active steps to grow. For example, you could highlight different professional experiences on your resume, such as conferences or trainings you have attended, or personal steps you are taking, such as reading developmental books to continually grow and learn. One great tip is to make sure you demonstrate on your resume and in your interviews that you are willing to help outside of your job duties. Employers often want to see that you are willing to be a contributing member of a team, even if it's completing small tasks that contribute to the end goal, like printing and assembling hundreds of name tags. Think of examples where you went above and beyond your job duties and did a miscellaneous job duty that contributed to the overall picture of the team. Now that you have your values defined and a plethora of transferable skills and examples ready, it helps to bookmark job listing sites from specific organizations or industry-specific job boards. When it is time to start looking for jobs, you have many ways to search. You can use job search sites, professional organization websites, university career pages, and the list goes on. Some commonly used sites to search for open positions in hospitality include higher ed jobs or university career pages. Our favorite, of course, is the ACCED-I Career Center, which lets you filter by location and job type, and it also allows you to set up alerts. While searching for jobs on the university pages, make a list of the ones you like with direct links so you can come back and review them after you've searched through all other sources. In your search, be sure to include other departments like auxiliaries and foundations. Some companies will have jobs that are easily accessible, while others may require you to contact their hiring manager or HR department. Once you find some jobs that you're interested in, the next step is to apply. There are several key factors you should look at before applying, such as the title of the position. It is important because it helps you determine what the job is without going into too much detail. A title is a way for you to identify the level of the position. For example, some institutions call student assistants managers, yet at other schools, manager is a director level position. However, it is important to note that some universities have very vague posting titles and have a different working title listed elsewhere in the job description. The qualifications are also important to look at what requirements you need to have. Some positions require you to complete a certain level of education or already have so many years of experience. It is essential to read all the qualifications before applying for a position. Next, you need to look at the job responsibilities. Read the entire section of responsibilities, not only to know what you will be doing in that role, but to determine if you have the skill set you'll need to do well in the role. Job responsibilities also give you a list of expectations for the position. And finally, look at the pay grade for the position. Research what an entry-level salary is for your geographic area. If the range listed for the position is around this level, it could be a good sign it is entry level. The pay grade will also help you determine if the position is entry level or mid-senior level based on the difference in the salary. Most importantly, if you don't have all the qualifications specified on the position, but have most of the core competencies required, still apply. You never know who else might be applying for the position, and you might be the most qualified candidate, even if you're missing some qualifications. The right background with the willingness to learn can go a long way. Many job descriptions will also list the documents required to apply, which will almost certainly include a list of references. When asking someone to be a reference, you need to make sure you put real effort into finding the right people. Having a reference is more than just asking someone you hope will write something nice about you. When deciding on a reference, look for someone who truly knows you and can speak to your professional work ethic, as well as one that will provide a positive reference. It is even better when you have someone in your field who can really highlight the positive in you. Make sure you give your reference enough time to compose a thoughtful response. Ideally, 2 to 3 weeks is acceptable to allow them to compose a reference letter. It is also important to share your resume and job application progress with your reference when you make your request. This not only helps them to see what all you have done so far, if they don't already know, but it allows them to see how your previous experience is related to the new position that you are applying for. It is also good to give them the job description of the position you are applying for so they can focus their letter on what is important to that job. Sometimes you may not get the first, second, or third job that you apply for, so always keep your references. if you are using them multiple times, up to date so that you can send their contact information to a new company. A good person to be your reference would be your mentor. If you don't have one yet, it's not too late to develop a relationship. If one hasn't naturally occurred in your position, you can formally reach out to professionals in the field to be your mentor. When asking someone to be a mentor, there are many factors that you should consider. You will want to find someone who is involved in organizations that you are involved in, such as ACCED-I. Having a mentor who is either in your field or professional organization is very important. Understand and respect that your busy time is also their busy time. Schedule more meetings with them in the winter and early spring rather than the summer and early fall. When scheduling these meetings, have an agenda or outline of what you want to discuss and send it to your mentor 1 to 3 days before the meeting. This way, you are utilizing their time effectively and efficiently. End the meeting with a clear understanding of steps that either of you are to accomplish by your next meeting. Mentors can also be a great sounding board for positions you find, reviewing your resume, or even helping you take a headshot photo if you don't have one. Consider taking a professional headshot to enhance your overall image. Headshots can be used on professional networking sites such as LinkedIn and on your Career Center profile. When getting ready for your headshot, try to avoid clothing with potentially distracting patterns, including shiny ties or shirts. A good rule of thumb is to go classic with dark professional clothes, such as a suit or a blazer. Remember what your parents said about your posture and stand up straight. It's very important that you don't hunch and keep your arms to your side. Crossing your arms can make you look defensive. Be sure to smile. Right before the picture is taken, think of something funny. You want your smile to reach your eyes and look as natural as possible. Keep your makeup light. You want to be easily recognizable and not to have the makeup overpower the picture. Now we're excited to give you some real-world examples of past students that have reached out to share how their student positions helped them obtain jobs after graduating. This is what they had to say. Madison Hernandez Barber from Loyola Marymount University described something that she was most proud of while working in the collegiate conference industry. Over the past 7 months, I have learned to handle the budgets for all the groups our department oversees. My worst subject in school was always math, and in working with the budgets, I have managed to better my skills with numbers, as well as programs like Excel, a program I never had to work with before. Now, I have a better understanding of where the money is allocated and how much goes to certain departments on campus, like the rec center and housing. Amber D. Mann from Emory University shared some details on the benefits that she appreciated most while working in the collegiate conferencing and events industry. I appreciate the amount of personal growth I was able to achieve at that moment. I had an amazing boss and coworkers at the time who really believed in me, and to feel that kind of support definitely pushed me the way I needed to jumpstart my career. Another amazing benefit for me was establishing connections with tons of people on and off campus. Being part of the conference services, you get to interact with so many people just on the student assistant level. And once I became a student manager, the following summer I got to connect with even more people. Having those connections and continuing to build on those relationships can really help you later in life. Mackenzie Alder from the University of Utah has always been drawn to the idea of working in the hospitality industry. The university guest house has given her the opportunity to gain experience working in collegiate conferences and in a hotel. She stated, "I love providing a memorable service to our guests and establishing a connection with those people that will last indefinitely. Especially at our guest house, where most of our guests are hospital patients, it's a great feeling to be able to brighten up their experience just by offering a unique experience and continuous customer service." Miguel Magana from California State University, San Marcos, recently transitioned from a student to a professional in the industry. He shared a huge accomplishment he had while working in the collegiate conference industry. I was able to continue the growth of the department and finally get it to a place of profit. Being able to cut costs and improve operations in his first year was what resonated for Miguel. Way to go! You are ready to begin the job search process and jumpstart your career. Not only have you taken the chance to get to know yourself better, you are now ready to apply all of your professional and leadership skills to find the job that is right for you. In the immortal words of Dr. Seuss, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. We know what a daunting task the job search process can seem to be. If you start with self-reflection and put enough time in to take a deep dive into your experiences, you'll be able to craft responses to highlight the skills you have while searching for the role that aligns with your values. Keep this webinar bookmarked as a helpful toolkit throughout your search, as the most effective resumes and cover letters are tailored to each position application. We can't wait to hear where your skills take you. On behalf of the ACED-I Student Development Action Team, we greatly value your input on how we can make webinars such as this one more informative and available to you as a resource. To provide feedback on this webinar or submit topics for future webinars, please contact us at info@aced-i.org. Be sure to stay connected with ACED-I by following us on Twitter and Facebook and joining our LinkedIn group. Don't forget to also bookmark the ACED-I Career Center for your job search and check out the ACED-I student website for helpful information. Please check back with us soon for additional resources and webinars to support your student career success. Take care until then.